Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry, I'm in the car right now. Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Oh,
So,
how cool.
yeah, I'm in Florida. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're thinking about moving here actually permanently. So,
Oh,
I just actually came here. I just had a baby here, so I've been here for the last few months, and it's really amazing, but it's insanely hot. So, we're actually in front of the beach right now. I'm sitting in a parking lot in the car. So please excuse my face. I'm hoping that the AC is going to kick on. But how are you doing?
good. It's day off, so I don't work the weekends.
Of course, wonderful. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
So Davida is treating you right?
Yeah, I love it. It's a learning experience. I'm learning every day. So it's a really interesting place, especially for acute programs. It's like really fast
Uh-huh.
paced. Every day is different. No day's the same.
Oh, wonderful. That's
Mhm.
good. That's good. That's amazing. So I hope you don't mind. I already pressed record. So I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
okay.
good. Okay, wonderful. So anyway, yeah, so things have changed. It's amazing. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile and you did your MHA with West Coast
Yeah.
University and now you're going for your doctorate.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, I'm just blown away. That's so cool. So what I was hoping that we could do, because okay, I don't know if you had the same experience when you were at CSUSB, but a lot of people have, I mean, throughout the years, especially like whenever I have students in class and they're seniors and they're coming towards the end when they have to do that internship.
Yeah.
And also just when they're coming close to graduation, they don't know what they're doing, job wise and everything. I get a lot of people asking for help and asking for jobs, internships, if I can link them up or anything like that. And then a lot of people, they just assume that they can really only get a job at a hospital or, you know what I mean? So I just kind of felt, or I get the feeling that people are just sort of lost, especially when they're coming close to graduation. Everything's suddenly becoming so real and they still don't know what they're doing. They did a lot of textbook work, but reality is they don't feel ready or they don't feel like they are the administrators that they should be by the end. So I was just hoping. I actually started this series when the pandemic started, where I started I guess meeting up with or interviewing other health administrators from various different backgrounds, different career paths in the same field, and just sort of asking them what they do so that they can just share any kind of knowledge that they can with the students or graduating students or new graduates, people who are searching for a job, and also how they even got there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are also confused on how do I get there? Do I just get the degree and then I get to just jump into the job? What happens? So there's a lot of, I guess, holes that they need filling in. And so I don't know if you've watched any of the videos that I've done before, but
I did.
that's just kind of what I have been doing lately. So yeah, this is really good to have you here. This is pretty amazing. So a former student of mine. And what's really cool is that you also went to the same school to get your master's degree, and then now you're going on to get your doctorate, and you've already built your career, or you are, and you've worked in health administration for a while.
Yeah.
So this is pretty amazing. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself and then just share your story? Talk about like what you do right now, your current position, and then let's get into how you got there.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I went to Casa San Bernardino, and then I got my bachelor's in health science for healthcare management. I know they changed it now, so it's different. But when I graduated, I definitely was in the same boat, didn't know what to do. It took me a long time to get a job. I was applying everywhere. I didn't know what was wrong. I couldn't get an interview. And I felt
Oh,
really like hopeless, like, oh my gosh, it's not as easy as it is. Like, I have the degree now. What's the problem? And so I just kept applying. But at my current job, I was working for a Center for Youth and Community Development. It was like a community program. And I just asked like my boss at the time, can you just teach me like financial stuff? I know I learned it, but I don't know exactly what it means. And so she taught me a little bit and I kept applying. And then I was able to work as an operations manager for Center for Autism. There's a lot of centers. And so I was there for about a year. I absolutely loved it. I was an operations manager. I oversaw the operations of the clinic and the treatment adherence for each of the kids. I made sure that my budgets were stable, we were profitable, we were, giving enough treatment time for the kids. And then from there, I just logged on LinkedIn and I started talking to a bunch of people, even people that were not in the same field as me, like really different, just asking them, how's it going? How is your day? Can you tell me something about you? And then someone reached out to me from DaVita and she was like, hey, I've been looking at your LinkedIn and I think you are a good candidate. I wasn't sure if I was, but I was like, let's go for it. So I went through a lot of interviews. It was about 5 interviews with different people. Wow. I was really nervous every time. I felt like I messed up a lot of my interviews, but I guess they saw something in me that, I was trying to portray through the camera because it was all through Zoom. And so now I'm working as a hospital service administrator, which is at a bigger level. I am the hospital service administrator for the UCLA acute program for dialysis. So I oversee Ronald Reagan, UCLA, Santa Monica, UCLA, and St. John's, all in that LA area. And that I might be adopting another hospital soon. So I'll be overseeing 4 hospitals. We'll see. I'm excited, but I don't know. So in that role, what I essentially do is do like the financial stuff. It's a little bit of both. So I do a lot of people time. People time means like hanging out with my staff, my teammates, making sure that they feel okay, that they feel supported, that they feel like there's an administrator present in the hospital area. The nurses, they're working 10, 15-hour shifts. They're super tired. Sometimes they feel like they're left just to do patient care. So I try to be there to be their support, to be their, their person to lean on, their person to hear them out and provide them any support that I can, as well as looking at the financial stuff. So financial stuff, I oversee like the budgets, ordering, supplies, treatment volume, different modalities that we're providing that month. What is our outcomes for that month? And we provide like a PowerPoint for the directors of the hospital. So yeah, that's what I do now. So that's exciting.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really exciting. You seem to be you're overseeing quite a bit. So that's quite impressive. How long have you been doing this?
For about 5 months now. So I'm kind of new to my role for the hospital.
You are new. Yeah, that's really cool. So how did you get yourself to this position? What were you doing before? And actually, can you go back and maybe discuss like the stepping stones that it took you to get to this point?
Yeah, before I was what's it called? An operations manager. Sorry, so many titles. An operations manager for a Center for Autism and Related Disorders. So I oversaw the operations of the clinic. It gave me like a good stepping stone. It was something really small, a small program. It was about 20 staff, me and another clinical manager, and just trying to learn what they do. I always told them that I can't be a good administrator or leader if I don't know what they're doing as clinical. Because there seems to be like a separation between clinical and administrative. So I try to merge that so I know what they're doing. But steps that I took was definitely like keep applying, look at the description. I actually applied to positions that like didn't require a bachelor's degree. At the time, I didn't care if it required a bachelor's degree or not. I just wanted to get like my foot in the door and get some experience. So the the job that I had before didn't require a bachelor's degree. It just required like an associate. So I was like, cool, it doesn't matter. I'm willing to do anything. And I only lasted there about a year before someone else was like, hey, like you gained some experience, we would love to give you a chance. And yeah, that's kind of where it went.
So it was pretty much probably the beginning of the pandemic when you had the other one. And then, wow, things have changed.
Yeah.
You make moves.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So before that, so how did you get to, or when did you graduate with your MHA actually?
In 2000, I think 2018.
2018?
Yeah.
So how did you go from, okay, so you went from your master's degree. Were you working at the time?
I was, yeah. For my master's, I was the operations manager at the clinic. And
you were already operations manager.
It was really tough. School is definitely not easy. I had a lot of nights where I only slept like 4 hours, 5 hours trying to keep up with school. And so it was pretty tough. I went to West Coast. It was really nice. I felt like there was like a really good support group. And it felt smaller and different from Cal State San Bernardino. I love Cal State San Bernardino. It's like an amazing school, but I felt different at West Coast just because I felt a little bit more like it was a smaller program. So I was able to talk to a lot more people. And I feel like I grew as a person. I was less shy. I actually reached out and was like, hey, like, nice to meet you. Is there something about you that you could share about me? Something fun, and I became more of an extrovert than an introvert.
I feel like I had a similar experience. Like when I went from Cal State, I was really shy. I was actually a nervous wreck anytime I had to talk to any group. You know what I mean? I was like I was just like this scared little girl at Cal State all the time. And then, and I love that school, just like how you say, it's just a very nice, homey, clean, friendly, place, but it's huge. And you can be kind of just like lost in the middle of millions there in a way. But yeah, going to West Coast, there were, I think, 12 people in my cohort. So it was like, it's very close knit. Also, another cool thing about them is I feel like they're more innovative. They're a bit more progressive, so they have a lot more new technology. They use a lot of new things out there. And so they incorporate a lot of new stuff going on in the world and everything in the learning, but also, I felt like since we're more close, and it just felt an easy place to get comfortable and just really actually contribute. Yeah. For once, you know what I mean? So I felt like I grew up there.
Yeah.
I grew up, I became more extroverted. I was more comfortable presenting my ideas and connecting with people and everything like that. And then going back to Cal State and taking all that back with me. But so I had a similar experience there. What made you decide to go for your doctorate?
So I finished my master's, and then I was like, I want to learn more. I want to know more because the more that you go to school, I felt like the more I was learning how to become a leader. I learned more about myself. I felt like that's what the program was about at West Coast, and kind of at the end of Cal State San Bernardino. Some of my professors were asking me like, who are you? Like, what do you want to show yourself as an administrator? And so I felt like I kept learning about myself. So I took the jump and I applied, and I started going to the classes, and I get to talk to so many people. And sometimes I feel very intimidated because a lot of my classmates have over 20 years of experience, 30 years of experience. No. And I'm like, you have been working as much as I've been alive. So it's kind of like very intimidating, but it's very resourceful because they have so much knowledge, and they're in my class. So I get to like ask them and, have personal conversations with them. So it's really nice. So that's what made me continue, that I wanted to learn more about myself and how I could be more of an effective leader.
That's great. I mean, and it's so amazing. You don't need to, I know it's so easy to feel intimidated, but at this point, they're your colleagues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're they're where you are. So, I mean, I know they have a wealth of experience, but there's just so much you can learn from them, and there's a lot that you can help them with as well. Because I mean, I'm sure there's, I don't know, a lot of new things going on that you can bring to their attention as well. You have a totally different experience, just like they do, and you can also contribute to that as well. You were already you were already a manager going into your master's, right? So in Cal State, you had a job? Were you working?
I did. I was working for a nonprofit, and from there I started at the bottom too, and I ended up at the top, working as, well, I had multiple titles because we were a really small nonprofit. So I was like HR, I was admin, I was billing, payroll.
Wow.
So I was just like taking all the knowledge that I could, and trying to learn. And at that time, I was overseeing 13 different programs for the school district. It was after school programs.
Oh my gosh.
It was like 170 staff, and I try to get to know them all. But yeah, I just kept in Cal State San Bernardino. I would wake up, go to class, go to work, go back to class, go back to work. So I was like really like busy all the time. So I missed out a lot of
You were already an amazing, I don't know, power woman as a college student as well. So
yeah, tough.
Yeah, wow. So you are already there. See, that I think is, in a way, that's also key. I mean, your story is pretty amazing. So where did you go, or where did you begin?
As a
Because you've
tutor,
always had something.
a tutor
As a tutor?
for elementary school. Sorry, as a tutor for an elementary school program, and then as a tutor, I did my own programs for the kids, helped them with their homework, and then from there, I became in charge of the little program at the school, and I helped other people trying to make their programs for the kids, and then from being that program person, I came to be in charge of the 13 different programs at the different schools. And yeah, it just was like a ladder, starting from the bottom and then just showing.
Now you here.
Yeah, showing interest. I wanted to do more.
Your story is so amazing. So when you started tutoring, was that before Cal State or was that during?
During
Cal State. All right. Wow, your journey is amazing. So what would you say, what do you think probably is like the common denominator that got you through all of like this whole trajectory of how your whole job and career growth experience?
I would say probably showing interest on wanting to do more, and strength and coffee, lots of coffee.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I used to be hourly, and like I didn't care if I had to stay 2 hours extra as long as I learned something. And I tried to use my time as much as I could. I was really quiet. So then when I started showing interest and asking them, can I just spend like an hour with you so I could learn, or can you teach me? And then meeting a lot of people in the community, like in San Bernardino, there's so many people that are willing to help, especially if you work at a nonprofit. You can connect like so many different people from different backgrounds. And I was just putting myself out there, making myself vulnerable, letting them know like, hey, I don't know anything right now. I'm a college student, but I love what you do. And I want to learn from you. And a lot of people were really open. And then I did my internship at Patton. My preceptor there, his name was John. I forgot his last name, John Patras. And he was really amazing. He connected me with a lot of people too. I know a lot of people in my class, they were really scared to go there because Patton seems kind of scary, or I don't know. But I wanted. There's
always something like that.
Yeah, so I wanted to do something out of my comfort zone, because I was like with kids, cutesy things, arts and crafts. And when I heard about Patton, I was like, whoa, it's different, way different. Let me go do that. And so when I met him, he was really nice. And I was able to create like the little group that I had at West Coast there. And so I still keep in contact with him. I'll reach out like, hey, like, remember you taught me this, now I'm doing it. Like, it's so crazy. And then he's like a really nice person. So definitely like taking the extra time. I know a lot of people, like my family, we didn't have no money. So I always had to work through college. I had 2-3 jobs. I wasn't sleeping well. I drank a lot of coffee. I never drank coffee before until college. And I was, I had to work to help my mom. We didn't have much money, so I had to work. I couldn't just be the student who went to all the events and the cool movie nights. I wasn't able to participate in any of that. So I missed out on all of that. But I feel proud where I am, and I do miss it. So now whenever I have an opportunity to join like a school event, even as an alumni, I try to make time to join now that I missed out earlier.
In a way, I kind of felt like that, like the same way, but for different reasons. Why, like I didn't get to do the movie nights. I didn't get to do anything when I was a college student. So then when I went back to Cal State to teach, I was like, ooh, I want to participate in events. So yeah, it was really cool. I totally get that. So before we go, I just want to ask you, is there any kind of advice that you would give to an undergrad or someone who recently graduated?
Advice, I would say to not give up and keep trying and keep putting yourself out there, especially on LinkedIn. When I was in Cal State San Bernardino, I thought that LinkedIn was like boring and it's not going to work. But now I have people reaching out to me. They're like, hey, I went to the same school as you. Like, how did you get your position? And, I try to help them out. There's a lot of people who struggled and went through the same thing, the same struggle, not knowing what to do. And they're willing to help. And I was able to find help. And I was just say, just keep trying. Don't give up. It's hard. School is very hard. I hate school. I absolutely hate doing homework. I don't like sitting in the class and, almost falling asleep. It's not something I like to do. So when they tell me like, but you're in your doctorate program, I'm like, I know I still hate it, but I'm trying to, grow myself and learn more. And as I'm learning about myself. So just keep trying. School is always going to be tough, but one day it's going to end.
One day it's going to end.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Not the learning. Like at work right now, I'm learning. I'm not a nurse, but I'm doing the same courses as nurses. And so even though school's over, at work, you're still going to learn, still going to be in classes. So it's something to get used to and, not to give up.
Exactly. Well, that's perfect. Thank you so much for joining me and for doing this. I know I took up some of your Saturday, but yeah, thank you so much for doing this. I think that you provided a lot of value, especially knowing that you also came from Cal State and, you're very local, you can do it too. And you're all the way out there. So you're doing amazing. Keep it up. And I can't wait to share this with everyone else.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for that.
Thank you to you. I did take one of your classes. And so I still saved the PowerPoints and I look back and I'm like, oh, she wrote this. Let me use this.
That's amazing. Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But thank you. And, good luck in Florida and congratulations on your baby. And, I wish everybody who's watching this video, good luck and hope and to you too. Enjoy Florida. It's really nice.
It is. I mean, it's scorching hot, but the water's amazing. So
it's warm water, not like here. It's cold water.
Oh yeah, it's warm water. So I mean, there's no getting used to it. You just jump in and you're just like, ah.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. Well, you take care. Have a wonderful day. And thank you so much.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.